Hello and welcome here to Talk FCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, to more build-up between Barcelona and Chelsea in the Champions League. The second leg coming from the Camp Nou, 1-1 currently on aggregate. Remember, early on today we spoke about Barcelona and how they could beat Chelsea, what areas we should target and what we've got to do better from that first leg. And now we are going to be discussing the tactics, the lineups and the team selections ahead of this game on the sides of Barcelona and Chelsea as well. So we're going to have a look at both teams, look at both managers, and also looking at the tactics, where we can impact Chelsea, where we can really exploit them, and what we need to watch out for as well. So all of that and more coming up here in the Barca versus Chelsea tactical preview. So first of all, guys, I'm going to start with just looking at the personnel of the Barcelona lineup. Now, obviously, there's a lot of debate right now. We don't know what Valverde's going to do. We don't know who he's going to go with. And obviously, right now as well, he does have selection issues by way of Andres Iniesta. Now, Iniesta, about a week or so ago, got injured, and we all thought he's out of the Chelsea game. Never going to happen. He's never going to get back in time. But this man is consistently producing miracle work. Somehow, whether it's on the pitch or whether it's off the pitch, this guy is absolutely incredible. He's going to be 34 this summer, but somehow he is going to be back for this game. And he is going to be back. Today he took part in part of the training session with the full team. He's going to get there by tomorrow. And on Wednesday, he will expect to play against Chelsea. He has been doing some sort of miracle work. He's recovered in time, and he is expected to be available for the game against Chelsea tomorrow. What I got here, though, are two different teams with Iniesta in and two different teams without Iniesta if he doesn't make it for this game. Sport suggested these lineups, and apparently these are the four variations to what Valverde might do. So first of all, for the teams without Andres Iniesta, the first one without Iniesta is the flat 4-4-2 formation. You would have Paulinho on the left in the Iniesta type role, and on the right you would have Andre Gomez. That's a 4-4-2, Paulinho and Gomez in the team together with Messi and Suarez up front. In the second lineup, potentially without Iniesta, it will be more of a 4-3-3 formation. You'd have Paulinho in the centre taking up that Iniesta creative role, and then the front three will be Suarez, Messi and Dembele then coming in on that right hand side. If Iniesta does play, though, there is a chance that we could see these two lineups. First of all, again, in the 4-4-2 formation, very similar, of course. This is what we did in the first leg against Chelsea. Iniesta on the left, Paulinho on the right in that advanced role, playing once again that 4-4-2 formation. Or, and this is my personal favourite, and we're going to explain why in just a minute's time, this would be a 4-3-3 of sorts, although it would mostly be with Suarez and Dembele up top, Messi dropping in behind with Iniesta, Rakitic and Busquets in the midfield area, dominating that zone and creating then chances for those fantastic front three players. So those are the four alternatives. Let me know in the comments down below which lineup you preferred, but like I say, this one here is my personal favourite, and I'm going to explain why right away. Well, I say right away, but first of all, actually, we are going to look at the Chelsea team and what they're expected to do and what personnel Antonio Conte is going to line up in this game. I would personally expect something very similar to what we saw in the first leg, something very similar as well to what they did against Manchester City when they played them away from home recently. Chelsea haven't been in fantastic form since we did play them, so I wouldn't expect a load of changes from that first leg where they did play pretty well against us in that game. I think obviously it's going to be the back three, the three centre-backs, Rudiger, Christensen, Azpilicueta. It might not be Rudiger, he didn't play against Crystal Palace. It could be Gary Cahill, which I think would be a big positive. Alonso and Moses as the wing-backs, Conte and Fabregas in midfield, and then if he doesn't go with the recognised striker, Hazard, Pedro and Willian up front for Chelsea in that mobile front three. If he does go with the striker, it's likely to be this one, and it'll be Olivier Giroud leading the line for Chelsea. Cahill could come into defence, like I say, but other than that, that is the team that we would expect from Chelsea. Whatever happens, though, we're expecting Chelsea to line up with a defensive mindset to first of all contain us, be very structured, and then later on in the game, look for the goal that they do need if they're going to get through. But now it is time to look at the two teams together on my little tactics board here that I do have. Now, what you'll obviously see here is a smaller representation of the pitch. It's not as big as obviously it is in real life, obviously, but I mean on the screen here it is a bit cramped, but that actually ironically is exactly what it will be at the Camp Nou on Wednesday evening. Chelsea are going to absolutely flood this area here. Everything in the middle of the park, they are going to get everybody they possibly can in these zones to stop this man. They do not want Lionel Messi getting a single shred of space in the middle of the park. But what you'll notice straight away here, guys, is Kante on the left here, Fabregas on the right, and also Sergio Busquets in this role. And you can see here clearly there is always going to be a pass on through through the lines to Lionel Messi. He's going to be dropping in, he's going to be in this position here, and Busquets is going to be there. Now, what you've got to hope is that Eden Hazard, or whoever plays, whether it be Giroud or Hazard, is not really going to be always tracking back, because what you try and do, if you're the Chelsea manager, is to get Hazard buzzing around Busquets and stopping him from really releasing the fantastic passes that he can. If he doesn't do that, though, Busquets, like he did in the first leg quite a few times, can find Messi in this area. But then it's what happens next, and that is why I think Ousmane Dembele is massively, massively key in this game. If we don't play Dembele, take Dembele out of the picture, say that's Paulinho over on the right-hand side here. If Messi gets the ball in this area, there's only one man there that he has to aim for, and that's Luis Suarez. And Luis Suarez, as you can see here, is occupied by 3 central defenders of Chelsea. Azpilicueta, who's a fantastic defender, Christensen, who's pretty decent as well, and Rudiger or Cahill. Suarez has an awful lot to do there, even if he gets the ball from Messi in those areas. You add Dembele to that, though, completely different story. What you have to do in this game, what you absolutely have to do, is exploit Chelsea's wider areas. Alonso and Moses, they are not world-class fullbacks, not by any stretch of the imagination. You've got to get Alba right up tight and Sergio Roberto right up tight as well. If possible, force them back. Make sure you're getting past them and making sure you're driving Chelsea backwards. What you then do, if you have Dembele in this team, it completely changes everything, because he's on the right here, he is taking up this space, and not only is he causing Alonso problems, but if you play him over here, he's going to drag Rudiger out of position, and suddenly it's a completely different story. Suarez now has room. He has room to move, he has room to make diagonal runs in behind, and Messi now has options. If you don't play Dembele there, he's got 3 centre-backs to beat, which is massive, massive work for him. But if Dembele does play, do not think this is going to be easy. Don't think at any point in this game this is going to be an easy task, because I'll show you what Chelsea are planning on doing for probably the opening 60-65 minutes of this game. We all know that Chelsea have to score, but they're not going to try and do that right away. They're going to sit deep, and although they start with this back 3, this is going to be a very solid back 5. They're going to sit incredibly deep in the field. They're going to have Fabregas and Conte, and these 3 up front, Willian and Pedro, who are both very good players going forward, but they also work incredibly hard for the team. Willian's going to be dropping in here, Pedro's going to be dropping in here, and Hazard's going to be running around chasing lost balls. He's not going to be getting any service whatsoever from this Chelsea team. They are going to have, I would say, pretty much every single man they have inside their own half for the first 60-65 minutes, apart from if they break. Now, we haven't got the 2 Barcelona centre-backs here. This is where we're focusing on what we're going to do in the final third. Apart from if they break, Chelsea are going to be penned in, they're going to stay structured, they're going to stay incredibly deep. What we have to do here is keep our patience. Do not overrush things, do not panic, do not worry about anything. If we've got to keep the ball rolling for 60 minutes, do that. We know in our own minds, these 2 players here and Busquets, they can keep them ticking over. If you've got Iniesta there, if you've got Rakitic there, I would have good faith in those guys just being calm, being composed on the ball, because we know at some point Chelsea are going to have to come out. They're going to have to come out and play at some point if they want to get that goal that they desperately need. And that's why it's so important that we score before Chelsea. Chelsea need that goal, so force them out. Make them make some adventurous runs, because at some stage in the game you're going to get either Alonso bombing on here or you're going to get Moses bombing on, and when we do that, we strike. Alba, Roberto, Dembele, there will be spaces in behind at some point in this game when Chelsea realise we've got to go and get our goal. Maybe when Conte brings on an attacking change, there will be spaces. We have to believe that we have the players to exploit that. Messi can find the range, he can even make the runs himself to exploit the wider areas. But for me, it all comes down to what happens on this side. If Alonso makes that run, if Moses makes that run, Alba and Roberto have got to be alive to that. They've got to make sure that they can get in behind, that they can exploit that. Dembele there for me is massive, simply because of him dragging another centre-back out, which makes Suarez's job so much easier in that attacking role, and having Iniesta in this midfield just gives us so much more composure, so much more calmness, and that is exactly what you need in a game like this. And obviously, like I spoke about, Chelsea do need to score, so it is important to focus as well on what we're going to do when they attack, and I personally, like I said earlier, would much rather them start with Hazard, Willian and Pedro without a recognised centre-forward. I would feel a little bit uncomfortable if they start with Olivier Giroud just in this sort of position here, just getting in between Gerard Piqué and Samuel Umtiti, and simply because if they play Hazard in that position with Umtiti and Piqué, you could crowd him out. But with Giroud, obviously he's a big guy, he's a physical presence, he is a target man. What it would allow Chelsea to do is just have a bit of an outball. They can pump the ball long to Olivier Giroud, and he could maybe knock it down to Willian, knock it down to Hazard, and they could build on that and possibly then really try and attack and get in behind us. So I'd be much preferred if Conte starts without a centre forward. But if Giroud does play, we've got to get bodies around him. Sergio Busquets has to be aware of what's around him in this game. I think the two midfielders, Iniesta and Rakitic, will no doubt be coming back to help, and obviously the full-backs can tuck in. What I spoke about earlier, though, about closing Chelsea down, we've got to do that. Any shots at all in and around the box, you've got to be straight out to Willian. You've got to be blocking him. You've got to be closing him down, making sure they can't get their shots away. That is so important. And I want to talk about Dembele as well, because obviously in an attacking sense, we can use him as an outlet, as the width man. We can certainly do with him, but also in terms of his defensive duties, he's going to be asked to do work, and he will have to do that. He'll have to track back in here. He'll have to monitor Alonso's runs. He'll have to track back when he can. And even players like Messi, we saw him in the first leg really busting a gut if he lost the ball to go and chase it down. So every single player on this park is going to have to work hard. Suarez will press the centre-backs of Chelsea. We saw them doing that right throughout the game at Stamford Bridge. That's what led to our goal. We've got to keep doing that, pressing from the front, forcing the mistakes from Chelsea. But when we're on the break, when they're coming on to us a little bit, when they're trying to get their goal, we've just got to make sure we're nice and tight to these players, make sure they can't build their attacks, build their way out, and take the pressure off themselves. But overall, guys, I personally, like I said earlier on, I am confident going into this one. I think in our own stadium, we've got the advantage. We've certainly got the players to do it. I still, though, think in my own mind, maybe Valverde won't select Dembele. I'm just getting that feeling. Maybe he's not going to do it. Is he going to play Paulinho there? I'd be incredibly surprised if we saw somebody like Alex Vidal. If you're going to play a winger, it has to be Ousmane Dembele. No question about that. I just hope we see Valverde being brave, being bold. We're at home. We're in the ascendancy. We've got the advantage. We can go for Chelsea here and we can get a result. We just have to be brave and confident in doing that, because I think looking at this team, looking at what Chelsea can throw at us, yes, they've got a few threats in their team. Hazard, Willian, fantastic players, of course. They do have threats, but we have bigger ones. Suarez, Messi, if Dembele plays, I do believe Iniesta will be back. Rakitic is on in fantastic form right now. Busquets can pull the strings from midfield, and of course our fullbacks on their day can be absolutely fantastic and really help us in those wider areas. We can do this. I am absolutely sure of that. Barcelona, for me, massive favourites in this game, and we should be confident. We can do this. We are Barcelona, and Chelsea are going to have to watch out. And please, as always, guys, leave your thoughts and your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your feelings are going into this game. What do you think Valverde is going to do? What do you think Antonio Conte is going to do? Is he going to start a recognised centre-forward? And, of course, is Valverde going to start Ousmane Dembele? Let me know down below, guys. I will see you very soon indeed with more videos. Thank you, as always, for your fantastic comments. This game is coming thick and fast. I'll see you soon. But until then, as always, Visca El Barça!